It's Friday. We're gonna talk about what's old. Yeah, it's Friday. I hope you sold something too. Yes, I really, really do. It's Friday. Hi, Happy New Year. This is the first What's Old video of 2025. Wow, I had a really good week after the holidays. I thought it would slow down, but it actually did not. So some really good stuff. So as a reminder, in this video, I'm going to tell you how much I paid for an item, how much it sold for, how much the net profit is after we back out the eBay fees, or Poshmark. Sold one thing on Poshmark. So let's get started. The first thing is some good old flatware. This one, you can see they're gold, which is why I bought these. I wanted to try a set of gold flatware. So I bought them. And I paid $10 for this set. It's by Rogers. The pattern is called Royal Golden Plume, which is appropriate. I paid $10. They sold for $110. And that gave me I'm messing up right off the bat here. That gave me $83.74. And those just took 1 year to sell. Just a year. I don't think I'll probably go for the gold, unless when I look them up, they seem to be really good, but they don't seem to go as well as like just good old vintage stainless steel. So maybe not on the gold again. We'll see. This is one of my favorite things. I had a gut feeling about these. I knew they would be good, and they really were. I paid $5 for this little group of animals. There's an African animals trio, and they had real hair on them, and they were vintage. And you might recall when I picked them up, they did also come with a giraffe that the lady's dog had gotten a hold of. And it was so beyond repair that I didn't even include it in the set. So I listed these together. There's a lot of 3, paid $5 for them. They sold for $127. And that gave me a profit of $103.67. And they just took 2 months to sell. They were so cute. I loved them. If you see stuff like that with real hair, souvenir type of things, they seem to have been doing well for me. Remember, I sold a wolf before, and then there was something else too. Maybe it was a koala. But anyway, check them out if you see them. Okay, this one is this was a tiny little glass Santa, really neat. I was trying to do more Christmas stuff this year to see how it worked out. This one sold after Christmas. I paid $3.46 for it. It sold for $21, giving me a profit of $13.71, and that took... Well, it took 12 months for that one to go. So, all right. Now this is a vintage set of towels. The brand was called Canon Royal Family. And they were fringed and floral, which is all the things you want to look for in a set of vintage towels. These did all right for me. I paid $4 for them. They sold for $25, and that gave me $16.65 in my pocket, and they just took 2 months to sell. And this was 2 full-size towels and 1 washcloth. So, I mean, the more pieces you have, the better, of course. And they were in really nice shape, too. Okay, this also sold after Christmas. This was a vintage paper mache nativity with the barn. You see, not the barn, the stable. But their pieces were paper mache, and they were stamped Japan. Really neat. I picked it up for just $10. Kind of a long time ago, though. But it sold for $85, giving me a profit of $62.13. And yes, that was 14 months that sat in the closet, and it took up a bit of space too. So I was really excited when that one sold. All right, now this top here, this is by Sundance, which, I love their stuff. It's a great boho style, and this style in particular sells really well. So I grabbed it without a full investigation of it, and the stitching on the back shoulder had totally come out. So I had to sell it as flawed and for a lesser amount, but it did indeed sell. I paid $6.56 for it. It sold for $27, giving me a profit of $16.02, and it only took a week to sell, which just proves that this style is a good one. The stitches that were missing, they didn't really, you couldn't really tell. But I disclosed everything. So I think this person got a great deal on it. I tried it on myself, but it was actually a little big. Not sure if you heard that, but I just made a sale. So you'll hear about that next week, I guess. Okay, so next up here, this was a really big stack of vintage bingo cards. They had the neat little window that you'd slide over. They were by Ace Bingo. There's 25 of them, and I paid $3. And they sold for just $20, giving me a profit of $12.58, and they took 9 months to sell. They were really heavy and bulky, so I think I did lose $2 on the shipping on that as well. I probably won't pick that up again, but that's why we try new things and why we experiment with that. Kind of like the next one too. This is a Sanyo. It's the Sanyo M5430A micro cassette recorder, and I had the instruction booklet and everything, and it did come with one cassette tape in it, which was great because I could test it. That tape was used. It actually had the sounds of a model train on it, so I did not include it in the listing, but I could at least prove that it worked. I paid $4 for it, sold for $23, giving me a profit of $14.90, and that just took 2 weeks to sell. So not terrible, but not a huge moneymaker. And if I don't have that cassette, the small cassette, then how do you know if it even works? So you got to be able to prove those things. So, gosh, and the next one wasn't a great one either. This is a set of 6. Leonard is the brand. They're steak knives in their original box, vintage. They did have the pistol grip handle, which is usually a good thing. But these, I just lost my place. I'm so sorry. I paid $4 for these. They sold for just $15, giving me a profit of $7.95, and those took 4 months to sell. So at least I didn't lose money, but that was not a great one. I will not pick those up again. And, just these 3 in a row here, that just goes to show you, not everything is going to be a huge moneymaker, but it does all add up. Mistakes are made. Like the great George Harrison says, with every mistake, we must surely be learning. And I did. I learned on this one. I'm not going to pick up the Leonard steak knives again. Moving along, this one, this was great. This was the Lauren Ralph Lauren light blue with cabbage roses. I knew this was going to be good. I picked up this skirt for $6.52, and you probably remember it was in a video not too long ago. It sold for $56, giving me $41.38, and that just took 10 days to sell. And I still have the 2-piece set. It was red with a smaller floral pattern, but I think that one will do well too. Hopefully, we'll talk about that one next week. Okay, next up here, this is a great big pile of Pure Soap by Gloss. There are these fragrance soaps. I'm so happy to say that all fragrance soaps are gone. They are out of my office. I will not be. I'm starting the new year afresh with no fragrance in the room. I spent $5 on these. There were 49 bars, so it was a great deal. I sold them for $40, giving me a profit of $28.70, and it took 5 months for those to go. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. This was, again, just a short time ago. The brand is called Pear. This was the Finley style, and this was, you'd get your base pair of eyeglasses, and then you could just magnet on the little shells. How many times should I do that? I don't know. So you have all these different styles, really neat. I got them for $5 at a yard sale, and those sold for $100. I accepted an offer, and that gave me $80.90, and those only took a week to sell. I'll definitely pick those up again. Those were great. Okay, the great light fixture experiment continues. This was a really neat, it was a flush mount to the ceiling light fixture cover. You can see it's kind of star-shaped, but on the dome, it had little moons and stars. It was really neat. This one I paid $2.22 for. It sold for $42, giving me a profit of $33.02. And so far, all of the light fixtures that I got for $2.22 each, they've all sold in the $40 range. So yeah, I will definitely check out that section again if I see it at an estate sale. Okay, here's that cute floral dress. That I paid $1 for. It was handmade, so there was no brand to go off of, so I kind of just had to wing it. It sold for $25, giving me $19.85, and 1 day for that to sell. It was very cute, very cute. Okay, now this is the Mad Bomber Trapper style hat. Remember, it had the real rabbit fur in it. This one I picked up for $5. I got that at the same sale as the pair of eyeglasses, so that was a good sale. This one sold for $25, giving me $15.84, and that just took 2 days to go. Okay, Anthusa. You may recall that I talked about, I picked up a box of the reeds for $3 so they could go with the Anthusa home fragrance bottle that I bought that was missing the reeds. And I sure did. I put them together. So I'm $8 in on this lot here. It sold for $40, giving me a profit of $28.69. And it just took a month for that one to go. And just so you know, though, those Anthusa fragrances, if they come with their original reeds, totally sealed, everything in the package, you could probably get like a lot more for that, like $60 to $75 for that home fragrance, depending upon your size of bottle and everything. But check it out if you see it. All right, Dakine. Okay, oh, this was a brand new duffel bag. You can see it has a great print on it there. This one I did purchase for $5.50. It sold for $48, giving me $35.16, and that just took 6 months to sell. I'm gonna get a little sipperoni. All right, this was another one where I just kind of had a good feeling about it, and it was only $1. It was a beautiful print, probably about this big. William Blackman is a ring-necked pheasant. It was just gorgeous. It did have some corner issues, and there was a little mark on it over here somewhere. But anyway, I paid $1 for it. Sold for $20, and that gave me $15.50. And that didn't take long at all. That took 2 weeks for that one to go out. And then just so you know, when I have like a big poster, I'll roll it up and put it in a tube. I have shipping tubes. But this guy was, like I said, this 10 by 16, I think is what it was. So I just sandwiched it so it looks like a giant weird shaped record going in the mail, and it is inexpensive to ship things that way. First though, I put it in a poly mailer so to protect it from any moisture, and then you just make sure that your tape around the edge does not touch that artwork at all, and it seems to work out just fine for me. So all right, now this little bundle of sea glass doesn't look like a lot here, but there was like 65 pieces, and part of it was like partial Coca-Cola bottles. There was a little medicine bottle, some really neat pieces in there. I bought the bag of it for $1. It sold for $15, giving me a profit of $11.95. And that took 14 months to sell. So I really don't think I'm going to be in the sea glass business again, but it was interesting. Okay, Patagonia. Patagonia is very hit or miss these days. Definitely the outerwear is going to do better for you. This shirt I paid way too much for. It was a pre-owned used shirt. I paid $15 for it. It was corduroy. It was nice. And I know the reason why I paid that much for it is because I drove a very far distance for this luxury garage sale that was advertised, and had this list of all the brands they were going to have. And then when I got there, the prices were sky high, but I wanted to buy something. I didn't want to leave empty-handed. So I bought this shirt for $15. It sold for $50, and that gave me a profit of $27.59, and 18 months I've been holding on to that shirt. So I'm glad it's gone. Goodbye. And I'm sure they're going to love it because it's a very nice shirt, but that was, I don't know. I'm going to investigate Patagonia things a little more closely now when I pick them up. Okay, this was really nice. Again, just a recent one. This was the J. Alexander silver, stamped silver with red stones. And it was a good size box. You might remember it. A little trinket box there, and it had the paper and everything. Oh, it was great. I paid $11 for it. It sold for $120, and that gave me $91.84, and it took 1 week for that one to go. That was really nice. Okay, now this little guy, it is little. This is a little head about this big. It had the phrenology, you know, where you touch on people's head and it does things for them. Anyway, but it was to promote a medication, and the medication was called Etrifon. This piece was actually signed on the bottom. I got it for $3, and it sold for $29, and that one gave me a profit of $21.13, and that was a long haul as well. I've been looking at this guy for a while. 18 months on that one too. So, but it was really neat, and I'm glad I had it. All right, one of the heads, the lady, I had a little head go, and now I'm having a regular size head go. The brand on this one was Marwal, not a narwhal with the big horn. Marwal. It's chalkware is the style that it was done in, and this was the Polynesian girl. I picked her up for $2. She sold for $23, and that gave me $18.18 in my pocket, and that just took 2 months. And I still have more heads, so hopefully they'll keep rolling out of here. All right, now these candlesticks are really interesting. You see how they have that little on the side? It's called a hog scraper candle. You can raise up the candle inside of there and tighten it up so it'll stay. They're antique, really neat, heavy. I don't know if they were cast iron or wrought iron. There's some kind of iron. Really nice. I got those for $12.50. They sold for $75, and that gave me a profit of $51.95, and those took 6 months to sell. Okay, now here's a Gregory. So it's a very small backpack. It actually is supposed to have a bladder in it for hydration. And this one did not have the bladder in it. This was a sample that I got at a gear exchange event that I went to. So it's brand new sample, just no bladder. And the person contacted me and made sure is it compatible with the bladder? Yeah, you can put one in for sure. It just doesn't have one. So anyway, I paid $6 for it, sold for $27, and that gave me $18.39 in profit, and it took 3 months to sell. Gregory makes really good stuff. All right, now Ralph Lauren. This was a really neat military style cardigan sweater, black with the gold buttons. It had epaulets and everything. This one I picked up for $5, sold for $35, giving me $25.35, and that took 4 months to sell. I like the military style Ralph Lauren stuff, especially if it's vintage. Usually does well for me, so that was a good one. It was in really nice shape too. All right, now Vera Newman. I think this was in the last Money Pile video. I got them listed and they sold. So I spent $6 on the 3 silk scarves. They're vintage. They sold for $36, and that gave me $24.42 in just 3 days. So that was a good one. That's the sale we went to with Holly. So hi, Holly. You spent all that time looking through the scarves for me, and they sold. Thank you very much. Okay, now this jacket, this is a Majestic Colorado Rockies. I picked this one up for just $1. I accepted an offer for $30, and that gave me $24 even, and that just took 4 months for that one to go. And it sold locally too. I think it's just going to Denver. Okay, now the Clairol hair dye. This is a 3-pack, and I got that for just $2.18. It sold for $30, and that gave me $23.72, and it sold in just 4 days. So I knew that was going to be a good one, and I'm so glad I was right. Okay, more Curtis. Curtis just keeps happening. I still have more. You're going to hear about it a lot, I hope. Okay, so these are decoder plates for when you're cutting a key. And there's just 2 of them in this lot. I'm about 50 cents in on these. They sold for $22, and I just realized I do not have my profit written down. So let's look that up and see what happens. Curtis. Profit was $18.23. Money just keeps rolling in on those. And that, those were listed in May. So however many months that is. But like I said, those are just going to keep rolling out. So that's a good thing. Next up here, we have another one, the last one, which is kind of sad. I wish I had 25 of these. This was the American Standard Safety Heater. Put it so it'll keep your pipes warm in the wintertime, so you don't have a frozen or burst pipe in with the ice. This one I spent $5 on. It sold for $110, and that gave me a profit of $89.80, and it just took 4 months for that to sell. Like I said, I wish I had a whole pile of those. Those were great. Okay, now Barefoot Dreams. I have trouble selling Barefoot Dreams. Do you? Please let me know. Everyone was like going wild about it for a while, and it was all the scuttle. Got to buy the Barefoot Dreams and sell it. So I did. I picked this one up for $6.49. It sold for $30, giving me a profit of $19.51. And that took exactly 1 year and 1 day to sell. And every time I've had one, it just seems to take forever. So maybe I'm picking up the wrong stuff. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it has just gone down in popularity. That certainly could be it. That happens. So we'll see. All right, the one sale on Poshmark was one of my favorite things. I actually picked it up for myself. This was a vintage red leather 90s Coach purse. It was crossbody style, and it was kind of petite in size. And when I tried it, I just couldn't use it because I need maybe an outer pocket that I can just slide my phone in so I can access it real easily. But this, you'd have to open the flap each time, and it just was arduous for me. So I listed it. It's finally sold after 7 months for $85 on Poshmark. And so my profit was $63 on that one. It was a great find for $5. And the red, you don't usually come across that very often. So, but anyway, it's gone, and I'm sure the new owner will love it. Hopefully they won't have the same issue that I did, but someday I'm going to find the perfect vintage leather Coach purse that will be it for me. So that is it. Oh, but I should update you. I actually went to the chiropractor today and he was really impressed with how much better I'm doing. I really am. Like, I can get up and down by myself now. I can do all kinds of things. I should try driving, but I can move my legs while I'm sitting now. So that's all getting better. Probably still a couple more weeks, he said, and because it can take 6 to 8 weeks to fully recover. But things are so much better, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. And I've revamped how I photograph things. I'm no longer going to sit on the floor and move things around. It's all standing for that action. So yay for that. Happy New Year to you. I hope you get out there and find some treasures. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching.